Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 239 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes, and I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Mr. Nick Manella. What's going on, my friend?
Happy New Year, gentlemen, and oh, what a start to the new year it has been.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we last recorded, right before Christmas. Took the holidays off, so hope everyone listening had a great holiday break and Happy New Year, like Nick said. It has been a great start to the new year. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the beautiful sweater that Nick is donning right now. If you know, you know, you gotta be watching.
Exactly. Got to have a little victory beer here because we did beat Canada the other night. So, cheers to the boys because they had a great game.
Nice little USA jersey. But another great jersey. Gonna toss it off to my other co-host up in Wisco, Mr. Mac Vogel. What's going on?
What's up? Yeah, it's been an eventful first nearly 48 hours of 2025. A lot of good hockey on between World Juniors and that exhilarating Winter Classic game that we all got treated to. We'll definitely dive into that in a little while here, but all jokes aside, it was great. I had a good New Year's. My sister was in town and our friend Sophia as well. So just had a big group, went out, got drunk, probably a little too much, but that's how she goes, and wouldn't have it any other way.
Mac, how does it feel to actually be home? I feel like I've been following your journey the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks and you have been everywhere.
Dude, yeah, not only like just home, but like no offense to anyone, like love my sister and my girlfriend, all my friends and everything, but like when I got home from work, like today was like the first time I've been like alone in my own house in like 2.5 weeks or something like that. And it's
That's
just like,
brutal.
holy shit, like feels
That's
good to take a beat. I've had a lot of fun the last 2 weeks for sure, but feels good to take a breather.
Feel like you could redo Johnny Cash's "I've Been Everywhere," which is places you went in the
I
last two
probably
weeks.
could. Yeah.
Elwood's, Coco's, M&T Bank, Cap One.
yeah.
Yeah. There we
You know,
go.
you know what's funny? The last time we recorded, we were talking about Mac going to like four live sporting events in like a 6 day span.
That's right.
And it was the day before you went to the Blackhawks game. And
Hmm.
lo and behold, if you follow us on social media, Mac went mega viral with the hockey stick beer.
That was wild. Yeah, I completely unplanned. I knew that they had those. I think I had seen them on somebody else's page or something like that, but got there and kind of like had a brain blast of like, okay, yes, it's $28, but unlimited possibilities lie ahead if I just purchase this beer. So went for it, and shout out to Julia for helping me with the reel and being the brains behind the operation there. But it was a lot of fun, and hopefully some kind of sequel is in store. I will be at the I think they're calling it the Frozen Confines or something like that. Doubleheader college hockey game on Saturday, January math
Fourth.
fourth. Yeah, that should be really fun. Really good women's matchup between Ohio State and Wisconsin, and then equally good men's matchup between Wisconsin and Michigan State that evening. So under the lights, going to be freezing my ass off. I think it's literally like high of 22, low of
Oof.
16, feels like probably 10 or less. So,
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
So
But
you're
you'll
gonna
be
need like 4 or 5 beer sticks, basically, is what I'm
well, I'm
hearing.
going to need to
Yeah.
drink them fast before they freeze in the stick, too.
True, true.
over 600,000 views on that video between TikTok and Instagram. That is nuts.
That's
I
wild.
I do want to say because those comments are absolutely hysterical. If you need a good laugh, please go read them.
A lot
There's
of
some,
high IQ individuals.
like I said about TikTok last week when we were hanging out, boys. If you ever want to feel smart about yourself, just go read the comments on a TikTok video. But the ones that blew me away were the people that were so pissed off that the beer wasn't the right color.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Okay.
Like we had a Czech guy like comment in Czech on there today. We had like German guys being like, "Well, it's clearly not German beer." I'm like, "Yeah, there's a reason for that. Look it up." But yeah, other than that, it's
Yeah,
just
right.
like, come on, guys, seriously, have fun with it.
It's like, listen, buddy, it's a Michelob Ultra. I'm not trying to get like a
Right,
freaking Voodoo Ranger in a 28 ounce
right.
hockey stick here. Let's
That would be
keep it
$90
simple.
plus the ambulance ride out of there.
Right, right. That
Well,
and the people that were like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to a Caps game and try this." And it's like, "No, that's
there's Bedard right behind you.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not that's not
Who didn't someone on there be like, this is so bad, they're gonna throw him on the ice. This is why hockey's violent or something.
something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't handle
You're
it.
doing great.
Well, like Max said, it was he's going to be there at Wrigley Field, that is, on Saturday. We just had the Winter Classic happen yesterday as we're recording this, and that is going to be the first thing that we talk about. And I just want to lay this out there. Apologies in advance to anyone that may have tailed. I say our, it was kind of mine. I'll take ownership of this. My lock of the century, no goal first 10 minutes. We made a funny little TikTok about it, got a little traction. But there was a goal 3 minutes into the game because the Blackhawks are a complete and utter dumpster fire. We'll get into that in a
I felt
second.
really good about that bet, and then it literally
I
Right?
did
got
too,
blown up in our face in a matter of like seconds.
because that's not far off with an outdoor game. I mean, we
That's
saw
always
it
what
with like,
happens, I feel like. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Like slow
maybe there's one
starts.
in the first, but it doesn't come until there's like 5 minutes left or something.
Right. Right. No,
I
I
was
felt
feeling
good.
a slow start, nerves, maybe there's like the sun glare. Like I was like, yeah, no goal
Yeah.
first 10. And then what was it? Cam Fowler, first
There's
goal, I
literally like a
think.
power play in the first like two
Yeah.
minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I think I wrote, "Are you fucking kidding me?" 55 seconds into the game, and that's all she wrote. So
Yeah.
apologies. We'll have more of those in the future. They're fun to do.
At least you didn't have
Uh,
to sweat it though. We went ugly early, just got in and
Yeah.
got out.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
so the St. Louis Blues, they take down the Chicago Blackhawks 6-2 in the, I guess we're calling it the 2024 Winter Classic.
I know. What the
I don't.
fuck? Like,
yeah,
We'll talk about
God
that
damn it.
separately because it was technically New Year's Eve.
got a lot of texts about that. People were not happy. The casuals, man, they did not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cam Fowler played in his 1000th game, which is pretty cool to have his 1000th game in the Winter Classic. Got a pair of goals. Justin Falk, 3 points. The blue line for the Blues helped them basically trounce the Blackhawks. To be honest, the game was never really that close. Fans were upset in general about the build up to this game. A lot of people I saw online were like, we didn't even know the Winter Classic was today. Why wasn't there a bigger emphasis on why it's New Year's Eve instead of New Year's? There's a whole lot of thoughts. There's a lot to unpack here between, the NHL marketing and the game itself. So Nick, Mac, do you guys have any thoughts, criticisms that you want to dish out?
Oh, do I? So many. First thing I feel like that I've seen a lot and that I'd like to echo is that I think this guy put it perfectly, and I should have written down his handle or something, but some guy on Twitter earlier was like, does the NHL really think I'm going to choose to watch the Winter Classic between the Blues and the Blackhawks over my own team's game? Like, there were 12 or whatever games going on that day. If your team, like, the Caps played earlier, I think, so it
Yeah.
didn't affect me, but if that had been going on at the same time, I for sure would have just had the Caps game on. I'm not choosing to watch Blues Blackhawks just because it's the Winter Classic over that. And this guy's point was basically like, would you rather compete against your own fans, like hockey fans, or hockey fans that probably don't care that much about college football or whatever it was that they made the excuse for why they moved it? I think it was college football playoff or something. Um, but seriously, he was like, I mean, I'm just speaking personally here. I wouldn't have cared about college football playoffs over the Winter Classic if it had been on January 1st. This is like a tradition. It's the kind of thing where like, like I think he also said like football's for Thanksgiving and Christmas or whatever. Like there's all these traditions. Winter Classic has kind of been a staple to be on January 1st, New Year's Day. People expect it. Like Nick said, the casuals. I had some people texting me on Jan 1 being like, wait, where's the Winter Classic? And I was like, yeah, it was yesterday and it sucked. And that's just how they found out. So, I mean, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now, but I completely agree with this guy where I feel like you'd rather compete against different sports and take your chances that the hockey fan is going to still choose the Winter Classic over that versus literally competing against your own viewership. Like what like I don't know. I'm curious to see what the numbers are. I'm sure they're out there already, but I haven't looked them up, like
I
viewership wise.
could not agree more with that. I think you make a great point. Like, why would you try and divide your own fan base when you can pull from people that don't care about Georgia, Notre Dame, or Oregon, Ohio State? There's going to be people that don't watch those games. I know college football is huge in this country, football is huge in this country, but like you said, there's going to be dedicated hockey fans that because they do it every year, they're going to wake up on New Year's Day, they're going to do whatever they do, and then they're going to look for the Winter Classic. And you know, I think you make a great point also about no, I'm never going to choose a Blackhawks Blues Winter Classic game over a Caps Bruins game. That's just it's not going to happen. I mean, I there might be some people that would do that. If anything, the most I would do is watch who's doing the face-off. They had what Roenick, Chelios, and Denny Savard out there. Watch the
Yeah.
flyover. Like, why not?
Yeah, I'm not
But
gonna say I wouldn't have watched any of it. Like, sure, I might have flipped back and forth, but I would not have been like devoted to it at all if my team was playing at the same time.
no, I mean, not to mention also there's better hockey that's not in the NHL going on
Yeah,
at
that too.
exactly the
Right.
same time too. So, I mean, between college football and the World Juniors, I was like, I just don't care.
And not to
Sorry.
mention too, like it's just kind of one of those things that like okay, it's central time for me, but not much of a difference, hour difference. 4:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve versus like a 1 or a 2 p.m. on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve is like the one day people are not at home sitting on their couch watching TV. New Year's Day is the day that everyone in the entire country is sitting on their couch, hungover, ordering DoorDash, and watching whatever the fuck is on TV. Like, that's why the Winter Classic
So
does so
true.
well.
Yeah. Wow, that was a lot to unpack there. So couple thoughts. In the NHL's slight defense, very slight defense. I think that the 4:30 or whatever slot, maybe it was five. Actually, the puck drop didn't. They wrote five on the app, and then they didn't drop the puck till like 5:20. I
Yeah.
think it was a standalone game, but it leaked into some of the 7 p.m. starts, so that was
Mhm. All
people's.
Mhm.
right. Fair enough, I
But
guess.
but near the end, yeah, if the third, I mean, let's be real, who the fuck was watching that third period anyway? The game was atrocious. That's separate. But I'm reading here because I wanted when you mentioned the ratings, I wanted to see if they come out. I haven't seen anything yet, but I did not realize this. Last year's Winter Classic was the lowest rating Winter Classic
I
yet.
did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the year before that was the lowest rating Winter Classic.
What
So
was last year?
back-to-back
Was that
years.
Vegas, Seattle?
It
Yeah.
was Vegas, Seattle. It was
Yeah.
the lowest watched NHL Winter Classic to date.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
So, listen, will they break it on this one? I'm sure the Chicago market might help a little bit, but and the Bedard factor perhaps. But Jesus Christ, guys, that was a horrible, horrible hockey game.
Let's
Yeah.
be real. Is the Bedard factor the only reason Chicago was in this game?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
They've never won a Winter Classic. They've played in what, five of them? I think I read
Yeah.
they're 0 and 5
That's
in
Which is
outdoor
wild.
games.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they lost to the Wings, the Caps, the Blues, the did they play the Penguins?
They played a
They
stadium
played the
series.
Red
They
Wings,
they
I
won
think.
Yeah.
they won the stadium series against the Penguins.
Okay.
But I think they're 0 and 5 in Winter Classics is what I
Yeah.
saw online.
That's crazy they've had five.
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans were like, this should be the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that for a little while.
So in terms of the game itself, I mean, listen, Bedard factor, yeah, I get it. I like the St. Louis Blues. I'm a diehard hockey fan. I talk about it once a week. I prepare notes for it once a week. I'll watch like fucking Senators versus Ducks at 10 p.m. Like I'm the outlier. Why are the St. Louis Blues in a nationally televised game? There's not a lot of draw there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
happy
they're
for
not
Cam
even
Fowler,
like,
but
yeah.
yeah.
They're not even like that bad of a team. Like, I mean,
No.
there's a good chance I think they could make the playoffs this year, but it's not really about that. It's just that they don't have really a superstar right now. They don't have a whole lot of marketability in general at the moment. And that's nothing I'm not trying to
Yeah.
knock Blues fans right now. Like, you guys are fine, but uh, it's just facts. Like, it's just there's not a whole lot of reason to have that be the Winter Classic right now.
Right. Vancouver, Minnesota would have been a better matchup.
Yeah, but they won't put Canadian teams in it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's just like Max said, it's not a knock on St. Louis, but good God, there's a
I
lot
guess
of
I guess Montreal's been it, and Toronto has, but
Yeah. But
for the
they also
most
had
part,
like,
they don't.
yeah, they had like those Heritage Classic games
Yeah,
that they would
that's
do and
that's
stuff.
why. Yeah.
like you could have pulled Mini down there, you get maybe some Kaprizov action, but like if you're really trying to make this like a hey, let's grow the game, you got to have a top five name in there.
If
Yeah.
you had to do Blackhawks, if you were like dead set, which I think Bettman was on Blackhawks, Bedard, Wrigley Field, yeah, I totally agree with you. Get the Wild or something, or get
Yeah.
like,
Detroit.
yeah, sure. I
Or
don't know.
I know we don't want the Blackhawks in there, but like how have they not done this? Get the Ducks to wear the Mighty Ducks uniforms, get the Hawks to wear like the Adam Banks
I've
Blackhawks
se-
uniforms.
I've
Let's
seen
do
that.
that. Come
Yeah,
on.
right.
I've
Just
seen
print
that.
money like a Hawks 98 black sweater with Bedard on the back. Are you kidding me?
Talk about jersey sales. Yeah, that's well, separate conversation. We'll move into that because there's not a lot to unpack in the game. It was a snooze fest. One of the best, if not the best, jersey matchups we've ever seen, in my
It's
opinion.
up there.
It was
You
good.
know, I was thinking about this the other day. Obviously, I think we all agree Chicago's was better. I loved the Blues. It just, why would you take the blue note off the front? That's the
Yeah.
best thing about your franchise.
And did you
I don't.
see the alternate like STL that they had on the helmet?
Yes. Yeah.
Put that on the fucking jersey. That was sweet. Like
Right?
what I don't know, do something, but the colors look good, I agree, but I can't say it was the best jersey matchup we've had in the
No.
Winter Classic. I think honestly maybe even like that Red Wings versus Maple Leafs one where it was both colors, like red versus blue.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
That was a cool one.
I'm biased too, but honestly, the Caps
Yep.
Penguins one at Heinz Field in
That's number one for
2011,
me.
that's damn good.
As much as it pains me to say, those dark blue Penguins uniforms were kind of sick.
I mean, the Penguins wearing a fucking scarf.
Right.
It's cool.
Right.
Yes, I'm more of a fan of the baby blue ones. I think Chicago's kits were
Yeah,
unreal,
they were sweet.
unreal. In the tiny details too. Like I'm kind of nerding out a little bit here, but like on the bottom of the pants, like they put Chicago in like red cursive. Looks super clean. Um, so yeah, not a great overall performance by the NHL in my opinion. I think the game was subpar. I think Chance the Rapper was subpar. I think the best part of the whole production was Biz doing
Yeah.
face-offs against Bedard, and that's a problem if that's the best part.
Yeah.
Yep.
I understand why they bring in artists to like, add a little flair and show to big events like this, but and I love the Smashing Pumpkins, but when you do one song and it's just a three rows of people that just have their phones out recording it, it doesn't really get anyone excited. So this whole
Yeah,
like fake concert, Super Bowl halftime show bull crap, let's cut that. If you want to put people there, turn one of the dugouts into a beer pit, throw a bunch of Chicagoans in there with a bunch of beers and have them go nuts for the Smashing Pumpkins. Come on, like,
that's
build little energy. Come on.
the NHL just opened up a marketing manager position. You might want to look into that.
I think that's like a 9-person role for them right now.
Shout out to working in hockey. Saw that. Shout out Bowens. Um, all right, real quick before we move on from the Winter Classic, it was teased by Mr. Bettman that next year, I couldn't tell if he was talking about the Winter Classic or if it's going to be an outdoor game, but he was saying on the TNT pregame broadcast that it will be something new and unique. I know we all have X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. There is a lot of rumblings that Florida is going to get some type of outdoor game next year.
Yeah, I think that is what he was talking about. He said something along the lines of some people might think we're crazy, but trust us or something like that. I wouldn't be shocked if it was like Florida versus Tampa or some crazy shit like that, or like I don't know who else, maybe like a Florida versus Dallas. Well, they were in one not too
I
long ago.
I think
Somebody,
it's Florida Tampa.
I
yeah,
think it
I
has to be if you
I
put
could see it.
Florida in it.
I don't know how that works. I don't know how that looks. I don't know how that will perform.
They've done some outdoor games in California.
They
Yeah,
have. They have.
I don't
That's
know that
that's
they went
true.
particularly well,
they did
but
not, but
Not very memorable. I remember there being green behind the rink, and I was like, this
yeah.
is weird.
And then the
yeah.
Lake Tahoe thing was just a complete disaster.
It
Hmm.
was, but it was cool, but it also like
It
remember
looked cool.
the
Yeah,
delay? Remember the delay on
yeah,
because of the ice? That was nuts.
yeah.
What's your dream Winter Classic matchup for next year? And then we'll move on. What would be your, I mean, other than the obvious.
Besides Caps Penguins.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the best
Hmm.
one? That would be
We need
Something
that.
with
We need that so bad.
like Rangers Devils could be great. Like could you imagine? And I know that there's no way in hell you could ever do this, but like Central Park, like that rink, Rangers Devils, like
that'd be nuts.
but I think that could be cool.
Maybe like a Avalanche versus
I think Denver's
Utah.
due for one.
yeah, maybe or maybe Avs. I would say Avs Wings, but the Wings suck too much. Avs and maybe God, I don't know. Everyone that is like their rival sucks. I guess you could do Avs Wild.
Avs
I think
Hockey Club.
Columbus could use one. I feel like they would have a good
They
venue.
could. They're not gonna get one.
Ohio State, that would be
That would be
unreal.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that'd
would
be
be
fucking
cool.
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's like, I know that they've talked about like taking this thing global, maybe going overseas and doing like some big venues. Any of those jumping out to you guys, or
Go
you
to like
thinking
freaking Helsinki or something like
that
that.
would be cool?
Or
So,
like, I mean, they wouldn't do it now because of political stuff, but like a Moscow
correct.
one back in the day would have been
Could you
insane.
could you imagine Penn's Caps in Moscow, Gino and
Oh
Ovechkin
my
like
God.
coming
Oh
back?
my God.
Yeah.
That would
Putin,
be
Putin in the
insane.
crowd, no
Right.
doubt.
Kovalchuk and Simmons sign 1 day
Jesus.
contracts and come out of retirement.
Oh my God.
That would
That'd
be
be a
amazing.
disaster. But
27 hooking penalties in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be incredible. All right, yeah, not a great showing by the Winter Classic, but I can't really say any of us are that surprised. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know what you thought of the Winter Classic in the comments.
Ooh, one other international destination or two, I'll give you. O2 Arena in Prague would be insane.
That would be cool.
Or
Sure.
maybe like go to like a big soccer stadium. Like maybe like I hate them, but Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because they have the retractable field.
That would be pretty cool.
I think in general, as sad as it is to say, because there's been some cool ones, and Wrigley's a great place in general, but I think we need to stop doing this at baseball stadiums. I think
100%
it
agree.
has to be done at a football stadium. The sight lines are 1,000 times better. I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong. I'll let you guys know what it's like on Saturday. I'm sure I'll take lots of videos of my seats and stuff, but yeah, I just think these things are meant to be at a football game.
Absolutely.
I agree. We're going to move on to some league news that happened over the holiday break. But before we do, the league news is brought to you by DraftKings.
That is true. The 2024-25 NHL season is halfway over, but the action is still heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. When you bet just $5, only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Alrighty, we are going to go relatively quick through the news. A lot of this stuff might be over a week old, and maybe that you heard some takes elsewhere. But like I said, we took the holidays off, so we're going to run through this real quick. First thing, and this is pretty recent. Jonathan Toews, a potential NHL return. I'm going to read a quote here. I believe I can't remember what was the magazine that published this. I can't
GQ,
remember.
I think.
GQ, yeah. So the quote is, "There's a part of me that really doesn't feel like my career is over yet, and who knows what this next part of the journey looks like as far as getting back on the ice and trying to make a return to the NHL. There's never any guarantees in life, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to enjoy every step of the way." Just a reminder, he missed all of the COVID season while contending with chronic immune response syndrome and symptoms of long COVID. He hasn't suited up in an NHL game since April of 2023.
It's been a while.
It's a hot minute.
Yeah,
I
And
thought it
he
was
will
even
be
longer than that.
turning 37, if I'm not mistaken, in April.
correct.
So, thoughts?
I am so happy that this guy is not as in as much pain as he once was, and it seems like he's doing a lot better. And it's nothing against Jonathan Toews. The guy is one of the greatest hockey players to ever play the game. Three Stanley Cups. I don't know how many gold medals, World Juniors legend. But, I think when you look at hasn't played in the NHL since April 13th, 2023. Mac nailed it, 37 years old. I just don't know. I mean, I would love to see him come back and get one or two more games for the Hawks. I don't know. I mean, maybe now Chicago could actually need it, but I just don't see it.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I don't think he should force it if it's not there. I get, it's got to be a hard thing to do to come to terms with retirement from this game, especially when it's kind of not on your own terms. So, rooting for the guy, obviously, but seems unlikely to me.
I would agree, probably unlikely. I don't know if I'm, again, this is a sensitive topic. It's someone's health, and I'm very aware of that. I could have sworn I saw somewhere on the internet like he's been doing some of these like wellness, natural medicine retreats over on the other side of the ocean. Maybe like India or somewhere south of the equator. I don't know, but like
Yep.
he's done a lot of different shit to try to get his body back where it needs to be. So respect, tip my cap to that. But 37 years old and not playing a game in almost 2 years here. That's tough. I would also say if he does come back, I don't think he's a Chicago Blackhawk if he's coming back, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Wow.
Well, I would they're trying to really put all the bad stuff behind
That's a good
them,
point.
still in
Yeah.
association, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they want him back. Not like
Right.
that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
Um,
trying to turn the page. I get it.
isn't he from Winnipeg?
I
I
think he is a Manitoba kid.
I believe he's a Winnipeg native. That would be interesting.
That'd be wild.
Um, who could use Jonathan Toews on their team? I
Red
mean, I hate to
Wings.
say it.
Red
Yeah, the
Wings, him and
Wings.
Kane.
Yeah, yeah.
Blackhawks fans would lose their mind.
That would be pretty funny. I feel like Boston would be in that mix.
They're
Center
always in the
depth.
mix. I swear to God, it's like he goes, like, just revives his career, goes to Vegas or something horrible like that. But
Yeah. I'm rooting for Johnny. That's a hell of a battle he's had. So stay tuned on that story. And then we move over to the Rangers. And man, oh man, is this a fun team to watch right now for all the right reasons if you're us and all the wrong reasons if you're a fan. But they get rid of Capo Caco. They trade him to Seattle. New York received Will Bjorn. Did I say that right?
Oregon,
Borgen, sorry. That was the G was silent. Whoops. A third and sixth round pick in the 25 draft. Kako has 3 points in 5 games so far with the Kraken. The implosion is fascinating, to put it mildly. This is the first domino to fall. The Rangers are still sliding. Laviolette still has a job. Sean Avery's meeting with Dolan. Like it's all over the place. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this trade or just the Rangers in general?
first of all, the fact that Sean Avery is even a topic of discussion is just hilarious. I love, I respect the guy. He played in the NHL. I never did, but I love how he thinks that people are going to take his opinions seriously. Just given everything we know about the guy. But I love this so much. I've been waiting so long for this, as a Caps fan. So, um, I honestly, and the person I'm most happy for throughout all of this is Capo Caco because I think he's going to be a fantastic member of the Seattle Kraken.
He's already had some bright spots so far. He had a pretty sweet goal the other night. He also had a really nice like full ice assist. I don't know if anyone saw the other night, just a sweet pass from like his own face-off circle all the way to the other blue line for a breakaway goal. Good stuff.
If Sean Avery becomes the GM of the New York Rangers, I think it would be the funniest thing in the world. For
There's no fucking way that's gonna happen.
There's no way they let him do that. I
it
don't know
would be
what comes
hilarious.
next for them. I know we've talked about it. We talked about it with Johnny Lazarus that, Lavi's job is safe,
He's gonna get
Drury's job is
fired.
safe. One of those guys is gone by March or I'll shave my head.
I think Laviolette's gone. And I mean, I don't know if you guys
I keep
uh
seeing stuff that says like both of their jobs are safe till the end of the year, though. What's up with that?
It's something's going to have to happen. I mean, you can't give your goalie what 11, 12 million dollars or whatever it was and then not make the playoffs.
and now he's hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Igor's hurt.
They are winning 2-0 over Boston right now after one as we record, but
It's a shit show. I'd be shocked if Laviolette's still there by the end of the year. Say what you will about Avery. I listened to his Chicklets interview. He's got a lot of interesting points, and I've been following him on Instagram even before that. Are you familiar with like he does these game breakdowns on film, and I guess the Rangers owner was watching them and was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you should come to New York and talk to me." And they flew him out, and he was talking to the guy, and I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting time in New York, that's for sure. A lot of JT Miller rumors. I mean, Vancouver's a whole separate
Oh
ball of
my
wax.
God, that is just a nasty situation right now.
It certainly feels like a trade between New York and Vancouver would make a lot of sense.
And
Um,
the Canucks thing, I think, is really interesting because I think you have a decision to make there on which one of those two you move. And I think it's a lot closer than a lot of people think.
yeah, so if you're not familiar, I mean, to put it quite simply, JT Miller and Elias Pettersson kind of hate each other, and it's gotten to the point where it's a enormous drama point for the team. It's all the reporters ask about. We don't know if it had anything to
did
do
you
with
see
J.
what JT said too, where he was like, "Do you want me to bring him out here?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a weird thing. Like in the leave of absence, I mean, I don't really want to speculate, but like who knows if that had something to do with anything in his relationship with him. And then Nick, you sent that clip. What was the guy who said like, yeah, when I played on Vancouver, like that was a big
Said
problem.
Jason Dickinson,
Brad Richardson, I
Brad
think.
Brad
Richardson.
Richardson.
That's right.
Yeah. Brad Richardson. So there's clearly something there. It sounds like one of the two is going to get dealt.
It doesn't seem, it seems like the Canucks players and their staff are just, they're being fed the PR lines. It's don't, breathe any more life into this. Let's kill this now. And it seems like the media is just like, no, like everything else is pointing the opposite direction. There's clearly problems here. Based on what Richardson said, it just seems like there's kind of like a little bit of a philosophical difference over how to, get each other going there, which, you know, we've all played sports for a long time. That happens in a locker room. But you got to deal with it right away, or else it's going to end up like this, where it's just continued to get worse, and now it's a problem in December.
Forgive my ignorance, but do either of these guys wear A's?
I think GT might, because Hughes is captain, assistant would be who are their assistants?
That's
I
a
would
great
imagine
question. Hang on.
one of those two has to be. Are you asking that for a reason?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I'm just curious. Like the way Richardson was talking about it was like Miller is a voice in the locker room that like
Oh
motivates
yeah,
people and stuff. And I'm just curious if he wears an A or not.
Ready for this?
they
Patterson
both.
does and
They
Miller
both do.
doesn't. They both do. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah. I'm not surprised.
that's funny.
It's it's weird, man. Here's what I would say. Rutherford, knowing him like I do, there is no like, oh, rebuild, like no, you go for the cup every fucking year and you go until you win it. And I can guarantee you Rick Tockett's completely in line with that. I know they just signed Petty to a enormous deal. What's it, like 11 and a half for like 8 years? It's a monster ticket. You can't win a Stanley Cup with Elias Pettersson being your ace in the hole. I'm sorry. I think he's nasty. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's an easy 100-point guy every year if he's got his head on straight. That playoff hockey in the Western Conference is no joke, and I would much rather have JT Miller in my corner in the playoffs than Elias Pettersson.
Interesting take. I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, I've kind of always been, I don't want to say a Pedersen hater, but I've been a little bit like the hype is too high, that kind of thing. Last year I ate dog shit on that one because he had an unreal year. But you're right about the playoffs. Like he kind of fell asleep,
Hmm.
and there's something to that. Like it's like Heat Daddy says, it's the fuck you Western Conference
Yes.
hockey. It's heavy shit out there with the Winnipegs, the Dallases. You're playing Jamie
Vegas,
Benn and Mark Scheifele and
Even if you
whoever
go up
else.
against
It's
Edmonton, you got Nurse to deal with.
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I kind of
Petrangelo.
agree with you. Pedersen
Yeah.
is more of like a send him to like St. Louis or like I guess if you want to get him out of the West Coast, fuck you hockey, send him to like who just match made in heaven for this guy, CBJ.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
Europeans go there too.
Yeah, I it's wild. And you've got to think that Pedersen probably gets you a better return. So there's
Maybe.
that to go off of too.
But I don't know. That's
I think Pedersen you get
who can take that contract,
That's the thing is the
right.
contract is
They're gonna have to eat
huge.
some of that, which
which
Canucks
sucks because
fans are
they
just
just
gonna,
did it.
oh my
Like,
God, they're gonna lose their minds.
oh
Well,
my
it's like,
god.
what angle do you go at? I think Patterson's 25 or
Ugh.
6. JT's like 31. So, like, if you're
Right.
Vancouver, you don't want to lose the young guy. But I stand by what I said. If you want to win a Stanley Cup right now, there's not many people I would name over JT Miller who I'd want in my corner. He's got that Nathan McKinnon crazy,
Yeah.
like, loose screw in his head, and you just need that in the playoffs.
He's a psychotic competitor for sure. Just like, MJ or Phelps or any of those guys. It's
Hmm.
winning. He's like, I will push my mom down a flight of stairs to win the Stanley Cup. Like that is what he's all about.
It's fair. Well, we're gonna move on to a coach that actually did get fired. Derek Lalonde, him and his assistant coach Bob Buchner out. Veteran Todd McClellan is now the head honcho in Detroit to help bring the Iser plan back to the postseason. Um, any thoughts on this? I know this is kind of old news, but
Well, it's good that now Lalonde can go focus on what he was meant to do, which is filming the newest sequel in the Austin Powers universe.
yes, thank
I,
you.
I heard he's going to play the villain in the new Austin Powers movie. So
Yes, thank
They
you for
they were
that.
torn between him and Guy Boucher, but they felt Guy Boucher was better for a Bond villain role.
yeah, exactly. And he still refused to tell anyone what the fuck was going on with the scar on his cheek. And they were
Correct.
like, you know what? We're actually just a little scared of you, so we're going
Right.
to go with our boy Derek.
Right. Derek's a good guy. He's down to earth. This was a good move. The Red Wings were terrible. They've had some big wins since then, since Todd has come in. This guy's a
Yeah.
veteran coach. He's been with how many teams now? I know what, LA, San Jose. I
Was he
feel
with
like I
New
have to be,
Jersey at some point, or am I making that up?
I have no idea.
You know what he was? I am pretty sure though he was an assistant with the Wings when they won the cup.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I know
okay.
he's got a history. I don't quote me on that. I want to say it was like around that area or that era when he was I'm pretty sure he was like on the bench at least for them
Okay.
for
For
a
the
couple of years.
2008 Cup.
Yeah, I think so.
We
I
So
don't
think
with
we
so.
don't
with
talk about
Babs.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
want to
don't
say so.
we don't talk
Yeah.
about that one. Never happened. Never happened. Um, yeah, I don't really have too much more to say. I mean, the Red Wings look better since then, but we'll let it play out a little bit before we speculate.
He
Uh,
put Veleno on the top line. That's a guy that's been struggling to get
yeah.
above the third line in that roster. And I thought he's made some good plays so far, but it's the Red
Oh,
Wings. It's a long season. They've got a lot of other problems to figure out along the way.
he was skating real well against Pitt on New Year's Eve. That was a 4-2 win for the Wings. Veleno popped out. He was skating real well for them. Um, On to another coach who didn't get fired, signed a nice little ticket in the offseason and is now the fastest coach in NHL history to hit 300 wins. That would be Rod the Bod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes. Pretty wild stat. Kind of goes to show how much regular season success this franchise has had over the past 5, 6 years. Do you know who he beat to be the fastest coach to 300 wins? I saw this on NHL Network the other day.
I think I do know this. This guy's a legend. Legend of, the stage, the ice, the screen, international movie sensation, Bruce Boudreau.
You would be correct.
Damn. I did not know that. That's awesome.
You would be correct. I was astonished when I saw that, but was Bruce's first gig in Washington?
First head coaching gig.
First NHL, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. Hell of a run so far by Rod the Bod. So kudos to him. Matt Murray, he played in his first NHL game in 629 days after recovering from a bilateral hip surgery and got a win over the Buffalo Sabres last week. After just two starts, unfortunately, he has been sent back down, which sucks. But being the Pens fan I am, a Murray lover like I am, got to give props to this guy who has just battled for over 2 years of injuries to come back to the NHL and get a win. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was great to see.
Um, so sticking with the Leafs, Austin Matthews, back on injured reserve. Reports are coming out that Austin is unsure if he can fully overcome the injury this season. Not looking good for the Leafs. In that department, the good news is that Tavares looks like he's 25 years old again, and Marner's tearing the league apart. But
I will say this I understand that he's got an injury and it might be serious and whatever, but it's just the most classic Toronto media thing ever. To like the quote I saw versus what everyone is saying about it is like night and day. It was like someone asked him, are you worried about the injury or something? Like, do you think you can move on from it this year? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I hope so. Or just some normal ass thing
that
like
was the
that.
exact quote.
And
Yeah.
then headlines are like, Matthews has no clue if he's going to be able to move on from
Austin
it's like
Matthews misses rest of season.
literally it's like, okay, dude, he didn't even really say that. You asked him a question, he gave you a really like nothing burger answer, and now you guys are running with it. It's like, all right, okay, go for it. Do your thing, Toronto.
It's so true. It never gets old with them, does it?
It really doesn't. I mean, I just said it, but I'm going to give a shout out. I mean, Mitch Marner has played unreal this season. Looks
Yeah.
so good on that line with John T. I know that contract coming up, potential contract coming up, is going to be a very heated discussion amongst Toronto. But the way he's playing right now, I know it only matters in the postseason, but damn, he looks good.
We've come a long way from over the summer. There was a moment where we all actually thought the move had been done and he was going to Utah, and then it
Right.
quickly came out that that was not true at all.
Right. I don't see this guy leaving the Leafs. They're gonna keep him.
I agree. I think they'll end up keeping him. All right. Washington Capitals. Take the floor, fellas.
Oh yeah. So first and foremost, he's back. You thought he was dead. You thought he had a broken leg. Nope, problem solved. The Russian machine, it never breaks. He's back. I don't understand how this is possible. The man broke his leg and misses like what, 4.5 weeks of hockey, and then it's just like, okay, post Christmas, I'm good. Let's go. And first game back in Toronto, scores an empty net goal. Like next game in Detroit, scores a goal. Just picking up right where he left off. I absolutely love it. Recent games for the Caps: 3-1 win over Carolina, which we saw, that was awesome. 3-1 win over LA, which Mac and I saw, that was awesome. Tough loss in Boston, 4-1. That happens. The Bruins can be good when they decide to play hockey. 5-2 win in Toronto that Ovi scored in, that I just mentioned. That was awesome. Love to see them shut that down and just suck the life out of that building going through the second and third period. 4-2 loss in Detroit, I was not a big fan of, but once again, I think that's like our fourth or fifth back to back by December already. So that was it was one I wanted back for sure. But followed that up with a great day game win over the Boston Bruins. The Capitals won a game that started at 12:30. Yes, you're hearing that correct. 3-1 over Boston. They blocked 28 shots. That's the second highest for a single game total all season. I think the first was CBJ and it was like 30 or something. Logan Thompson stops 26 of 27, improves to 15-2-2 in 19 games played, tying the franchise record for fewest appearances to reach 15 wins. Pop quiz, who did he tie?
I already know it because I was watching the game and it was the pen fed trivia
It was.
question. Harry, do you have a guess?
I'm gonna go on a list. Is it Theodore
No.
No, my sister and I were watching the game together. She guessed Theodore. I said I was like, it's probably either like Holpe or
or
like
Kolzig?
some bullshit like Thomas Vokoun or some shit. And like
Michael
No.
Neuwirth.
we were both wrong. We were all wrong.
Is it? It's not Oli, is it?
No, because I
No,
feel like when he first started, our team was not very good for a little
they were
bit there.
terrible.
Yeah.
Did Brent Johnson do it?
No,
No.
The starter, like a guy that
it
you would think
was.
of as a starter.
Yeah.
He was at first and
Still in
then
the league right
yeah,
now, doing his
Greg
thing.
Anderson.
No,
no.
we've
No.
talked about
Who
this
was our
team a good
favorite
amount
Caps
tonight.
goalie in recent memory?
Oh my God, no way it was Samsonov.
Yep.
Ilya
Holy
Samsonov.
shit.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yes,
Wild.
sir.
Speaking of wild, they are playing Minnesota right now. It's 2-1 mini, so hopefully they can get this one out of here with a win. Harry, you pointed this out right before we hopped on. It's probably Flowers' last ever start in DC, so wild that we've come full circle on that. They are home Saturday against the Rangers. Very excited for that, but that is a noon start, so just factor that into your weekend before you get too excited. And then they are on the road Monday in Buffalo. We've talked about this a couple times before. Sabres always play the Caps really, really tough. But Mac, what have you liked about our boys recently?
Yeah, a lot to like, a little bit not to like. I think that Boston loss right before the holidays, that's a classic burn the tape right before the break game. I wasn't too stressed about that one. That'll happen. The Detroit one bothered me a little bit more. I know it was back to back, but that's not a good team. I don't really want to make any excuses for losing that one. That's just a bad game on our part. But that'll happen too. And I actually really liked the Boston game for the most part. I do think that I think I saw a quote from Carbs today about how he feels like there's a real difference in a bad way about how we've been playing the last like couple of weeks versus like our start to the season. Um and at first I was kind of like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know, we've been winning games, but the more I think about it, and that Boston game the other day is a good example of it. We have not been controlling the puck a whole lot. Like there's been, I mean, that the end of that game, yes, it's a 3-1 win, but the last 10 or 8 minutes or so were really not played confidently. They were played in a scrambling manner. We did not have the puck for most of the final 10 minutes, blocked a lot of shots, as you mentioned, which is good. So there's some positive takeaways there, but I'm glad that Carbs is kind of aware of that. He seems hyper focused on that. He says he watched a lot of tape about, of those games where we're not possessing the puck, trying to figure out what it is that we're doing, and kind of just said that it's not any one thing. It's just an amalgamation of lots of little things. So hopefully, he's the right guy to kind of use his staff to zero in on some of those things and figure out how to go from there. But you got to like even if we are not controlling the puck as much as we want to, it's nice that you find ways to win a lot of those games still. That's impressive in of its own right. So hopefully we kind of get back to our more dominant wins soon, but overall our record's good and yeah, can't be too pissed.
Yeah, agree with everything you said. I do love Carb's attention to detail. He's so dialed in on every aspect of this game. Whereas, and this isn't to fault guys in the past like Hunter or Bruce, a little bit more of a
We can
laid back.
fault Hunter.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Um, One of the things I've been most impressed with, we've talked about this so far this season, it's just the continued offensive explosion of Jacob Chikrin. I mean, this guy has to feel so good about finally playing on a team where he's got weapons that can not only get him the puck, but he can get the puck too. The
It's
shooting,
impressive.
the
Yeah.
wrist shot is just unbelievable. And, I know we talked about the Caps trying this out in our group chat the other day, and then they ended up doing the three-headed monster power play with Carlson in the middle up top, Ovechkin on the left, Chikrin on the right, and then what they had Strome and Wilson down low. And that
Yeah.
took all of like what 10 seconds to get a power play
It's
goal.
an unreal power play. It's freaking awesome.
Dude, his shot is ridiculous.
It's actually like one of the best
It's
shots I've ever
insane.
seen. It's
Yeah.
so fucking good.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Deceptive as fuck.
it,
I mean, you can't even see it coming off the stick.
imagine if he was on the Caps team that Mike Green was on when he scored 30 goals. Chikrin would have
Right.
45.
Well, they did the classic thing on Twitter where it was like you can kill the man but not the idea, and it was half Mike Green's face, half Chikrin's
Yeah.
face.
I saw them do that with LT and Holtby too. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
that
good.
too. Yeah.
uh, it's a good thing that he's fucking yoked, because it is going to take a lot of muscle to carry the bags of cash that this dude is going to make in the
Yeah.
offseason. Open up
Yeah.
the fucking wallets.
Oh
Holy
man,
hell.
I
Yeah.
know.
So,
No,
like,
that's cool. We can like pay it like we could just give him like a ton of coupons for the sports book or something. That'll keep
I
him in
will say
DC,
he
right?
seems to really like it here. He genuinely seems to really like it. So I hope that that does something to at least make him more willing to try and like get a deal done and not just be like, fuck you, this is what I owe, what I'm owed. And if
Yeah.
you
yeah.
can't pay it, then I'll walk. I think he'll be willing to, have a little bit of a discussion. I'm not saying he's going to take a hometown pay cut or anything, but
No, I get you.
Yeah.
He's
I
having a
mean,
hell of a year.
yeah.
I totally agree with you. It seems like he really likes the group. Seems like he fits in
Mhm.
well. I mean, he's already a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Another fan favorite I want to touch on real quick before we get to the Penguins. Dylan Strome played his 200th game as a Cap last week, and since joining the team, he ranks first in games played, assists, and points, and is second in goals. That is awesome. Love those numbers. The Caps, just as a team, have allowed two or fewer goals against in 9 of their last 13 games. So love what you're seeing there. Obviously, they're getting great goaltending play from both Chucky and LT. Couple other things I've just been really impressed with. Miro, not only the offensive potential, but his physicality. He's playing bottom 6 minutes right now. His toughness in the corners. I saw this, firsthand at the LA game I went to. He's just, I mean, it doesn't matter who's in the corner with the puck. He's going to try and run him over to get it, dig it out, get it back to the point, get in front of the net to create chaos and try and get a stick on the puck. And I've just been so impressed with him. You can really tell the development of someone who went through winning a Calder Cup in Hershey last year and then coming to the NHL this season with all the stuff that he's learned because it's just been so cool to see.
Quick note on Strome. Stay hot, Chicago. Like, we're talking about how bad they are.
What are you doing?
Brandon Hagel's on Team Canada. Dylan Strome's leading the Capitals in points since he's played 200 games with them. It would be nice if Bedard had some help. I could name
Right.
two young guys that could have helped.
And their solution to that was, oh crap, let's get Teuvo Teravainen back. Then we'll just
Yeah,
start over, right?
it's a mess. Yeah, Caps are good. So, like, this is all fun, right? Everyone's like, "Ooh, yay, Caps, good." Like, Ovi's gonna break the record. We're gonna make the playoffs. Life is good. Blah blah blah. When do we start getting to the point where it's like, "Hey, this team's really good, and we really want Ovi to get a second cup before he's done." And now there's like some type of expectation. I mean, and the reason I say this, shout out to this Instagram account. It's hilarious. I love it. The fucking show on Instagram, top five teams who could win a cup this year, had the Caps at five, and it got me thinking, like, when are we gonna stop? Like, hey, this is fun, and then it's gonna turn to like, oh shit, we need to win.
So Caps fans have seen this movie before, which is why we're not going to get ahead of ourselves there and we'll cross
Which is
that
why I'm
bridge.
pushing you guys to
Right.
get there. Yes,
I will either cross or jump off that bridge depending on how it goes when we come to it. Let's just put it that way.
Mac, you're quiet.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking the same thing. I mean, I do think obviously we work best when we kind of fly under the radar. That's what we did in 18, obviously, but I'm not too pressed about it. I think that what Nick said is true. I think like most of the people involved and all of the fans as well kind of understand the assignment of like let's not put a ton of pressure on ourselves. Also, I don't even think like yes, the media for the most part, is giving us the credit we're deserved this year. Finally, like after going into this off or during the off season, all the analysts being like, "Oh, they're going to be dog shit" or whatever. Most of them have been forced to be like, "Oh shit, this team's actually like not a fluke. They're like pretty good." But I still think that they won't start putting the pressure saying we're like the favorite going into the playoffs or anything like that. Like I fully expect us to be able to fly under the radar the whole time. I really do.
Whatever they do.
Hmm.
I don't care if it comes down to like the final game, like final day of the regular season. If you're in contention for the President's Trophy, pull Chucky or LT and just put 9 pucks in your own net. Do not win the President's Trophy for the love
100%.
of God.
I agree.
That would be
It's
pretty
like the
funny.
the Breaking Bad meme where he's like
Yes.
yelling through the car window and he's like, "Oh,
Yes. Yeah. Just don't do it.
Hank."
I'm gonna go through the Pens real quick. Not as fun to talk about as the Caps at this moment, but Sidney Crosby just continues to rip up the history books. Him and Ovi, I think I texted you guys this the other day. It's absolutely nuts that we're in 2025 now and they're still this damn good. Sid passed Mario as the Penguins' all-time assist leader on Sunday night against the Islanders. He is now 5 points from passing Joe Sakic for ninth all-time in points. And then after that, he's chasing down 66 for eighth. So we're chasing some big names here. Should finish the end of the season top 10 all time in assists, and he's only 15 from passing Gordie Howe. So yeah, it's
That's
nuts.
wild.
It's pretty crazy. His parents were in the stands. I find it so funny they sit with Malkin's parents in the stands because Malkin's parents speak the worst English of all time, and they're all cheering with each other. It's a cool sight. But some recent games, split the home and home with the Isles, par for the course. The Isles own us. They always play us hard. It's tough to win on Long Island for the Penguins. That New Year's Eve game against Detroit sucked. Kind of a shitty game. Never really got any momentum going. I feel like the boys were just like, we got to get into the new year. Like, you're fresh off Christmas. New Year's is coming. Everyone's like, all right, we're kind of done. Big three games coming up, some big benchmark games. I know the Pens have got a little momentum here lately. They're finding their mojo, but they've got Florida in Florida on Friday. That's going to be tough. Then they play Carolina in Carolina on Sunday. That's going to be even tougher, in my opinion. And then they come home and play CBJ, where that's always a barn burner game between those two. I don't know why. I could very easily see the Penguins 0-3 after this, which is scaring me. Um, kind of need the Russian beast to wake up. I feel like he's been tamed a little bit after a hot start. So if Gino could pick up, I think we'll be all right. But big couple games. I'd bet the house on Sunday that we lose to Carolina. Carolina puck line, Carolina regulation, all of the above. So that's my Pens pick for the week on Sunday. Little World Junior action, a little bit of fantasy hockey action, then we'll get you on out of here. But the
Why not?
World Junior action is presented by Game Time, who Nick has a word from.
Absolutely. You guys know this. It's another year, but it's still the same good stuff from Game Time. You guys know there's nothing like watching hockey live, the chill of the ice, the sound of the puck, and screaming for your favorite team. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Using their super deal, I got my Caps tickets for this week on Game Time, and now you can too. Game Time's deals make it easier to find the best prices on the best seats, and you can even see a panoramic view from your seats before you pay. Game Time's all inclusive pricing shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. All right, World Juniors. So I know what everyone wants to hear about. We'll talk about USA and Canada in a second, but I just want to go over some just notes that we have to beforehand. So it's been a great tournament so far. I know you guys have been watching along, so it's been great to see. And I love how much hype is around it this year. It seems like a
It's
lot of
awesome.
the NHL guys are really invested. We saw a bunch of them. Brady Kachuk was in the USA locker room. Linus Ullmark went into the Swedish locker room. That's what it's all about. That's what this game is all about. So love seeing that. Know the name, learn the name, remember the name. Axel Sandin Pellikka. Detroit
Massive.
basically has one of, I mean, probably the best offensive defenseman prospect not in the NHL coming their way shortly. This guy was leading the tournament in goal scoring and point scoring up until I think yesterday, but opening night has a hat trick, I think, throughout the second period. Guy's just unbelievable. One of the best puck moving and skating defensemen I've ever seen. So it's just something about Detroit when they draft Swedish defensemen. It just seems to go really, really well for them. So,
I was thinking that. Like, obviously, you think Lidstrom,
right.
Braunwall, like those guys. They got Sider. Isn't that Evanson kid
Yeah.
Swedish? And now they've
Sider's
got,
Sider's German, but I mean,
oh, German, sorry.
yeah, but like I mean, they had Jonathan Ericsson, who I think on any other team would have been average, and they turned him into like a 6, 7, 8 year defenseman for the Wings.
You know the Edvardson kid for Detroit, though? He's like
Hmm.
not a rookie, but like sophomore. Is he Swedish? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
I think so. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now they got this guy. It's like, holy shit.
yeah.
Talk about year of the defenseman, too. You just said this kid's leading the tournament in points. Washington Capitals prospect, Cole Hudson, also a defenseman, second in the tournament in scoring, I believe. So
Yep.
the defensemen are tearing it up right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to be happy about if you're a Washington Capitals fan right now. So obviously the big name Ryan Leonard is having a great tournament for USA. He was all over the place today against Switzerland in the quarterfinal matchup. Took a high stick,
Including getting a puck to the face.
puck to the face, just running people over, creating havoc. And of course, he's still got one of the best shots in the world. Augie's looking pretty solid. James Hagen's and the BC line, they're just putting on a show. He is unbelievable to watch. His release, his puck skills are incredible. Danny Nelson, Islanders prospect, two huge goals against Finland, couple other big ones. I'm pretty sure he had one against Canada too. That's just awesome to see. The Islanders are gonna love when they get him because I don't know if you guys know this. He shoots the puck. So, I mean, that's just going to revolutionize how the game is played out there. But
That won't be allowed out there, but
no, yeah, Lou's going to be
Does
like, what are you doing? Like, no.
isn't that Iserman kid also an Isles prospect?
I think so. That or he's Blues. I can't remember though. But I
I
mean,
thought he was. I think he might be Isles. Was it Cole Iserman? Is that his name? If someone
yeah,
wants to fact check me, what team his league prospects will say it. But
his shot's unbelievable.
well, I was just gonna say, talk about shot. If that kid's
You're
also on
right.
Long Island, yeah,
Islanders.
they've got a couple gamers in the tournament right now for USA.
Yeah. BC, I mean, Iserman's a BU kid, but BC's got 6 players in the tournament right
Yeah,
now. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. But going back to the cap, so obviously you've got Leonard, you've got Cole Hudson, which is amazing. Eric Smetenko is, just having the tournament of his life for Latvia, leading the entire tournament in scoring is also a third round pick of the Washington Capitals. So that's just going to be awesome to see. I cannot wait to see what he looks like in a cap sweater eventually. That's going to be fantastic. One other player for USA I want to touch on real quick, Brody Zemer out of the University of Minnesota. If you were to tell me, I need you to put together a team of like an all-star team of college hockey players that could win the Frozen Four. Brody Zemer's probably the first or second skater I'm putting on my team because he is just that absolute net front presence dog when it comes to, cleaning up the trash in front of the net, scoring a big goal in a championship game. That is him to a T, kind of like Anthony Cirelli, where it's like, if we're in overtime or the game's on the line, that guy is going to be scoring that goal. He's just fantastic to watch.
too bad he got drafted by Buffalo, but yeah,
Yeah, that sucks. Him and Geary could light it up for the Sabres, so that could
there
be
you
fun to
go.
watch.
yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about Canada real quick because there's a lot to get to with them.
Oh my God,
Yes,
And
let's.
it's all happening now. So they get stunned in a shootout by Latvia. So
they were favored by 6 goals.
favored by 6 goals. Ready for this? In their previous matchups with Canada, Latvia had been outscored 41-4.
Nuts.
How does that shit even happen? Like, genuinely, how does that happen?
It's a miracle on
Unbelievable.
ice, like
No,
actually.
it is. It is exactly Miracle on
Oh,
Ice.
you know what might have had something to do with it? I don't know. Maybe just the Canadians, leaving like 4 superstars off the roster at the last minute that they just didn't think were good enough. I don't know. I can only think of a couple guys who
One or
might have been
two.
able to help
shoot the
them
puck.
not embarrass the entire country of Canada by losing to Latvia. But whatever, no
Yeah.
worries.
And then the full blown Twitter meltdown just started from there. And
Oof.
Oh,
the
Canadian
new
fans are so
So
butthurt.
pissed.
It's
yeah.
hilarious. It's
And
so
New
funny.
Year's Eve did not do it any favors, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I would be remiss if I did not mention Leonard's Feldberg's, who 55 saves against Canada, and in an 8 round shootout, not one Canadian player scored on him.
It's nuts.
All of this elite level talent, Gavin McKenna is going to go first overall in 2 years in the draft. He's leading the WHL in scoring and makes a World Junior team at 16. Can't beat this guy. I mean, it's unbelievable. The guy just stood on his head, and I mean, hats off to him. That's just an incredible win for them, for their program. I know it's an overtime win, you know, obviously would have been a little bit more impactful in Canada had it been in regulation because of the points, but you can't say enough good things about them. And New Year's Eve, baby. USA Canada. It's always a classic. I love when they play on New Year's Eve. Americans go in there and win 4-1. Cole Hudson, Danny Nelson, Iserman, and Leonard score. Canada gets a goal back from Bradley Nadeau, which tied it in the third, and then the U.S. just kind of took it from there. Want to give a shout out to what is it, Carter George, I think the goalie, Spencer George, I forget his first name. Last name is George. He has been fantastic. I don't really think you can fault him for anything that's gone on with Canada, especially in that U.S. game. He got beat by three of the best wrist shots I've seen in the tournament. Hudson, Nelson, Iserman. I mean, all of those guys. I don't know if you saw them. They were very similar shots too. So,
Yeah.
I don't really think there's all that much a goalie can do when those guys can shoot the puck like they can. So, the Americans ended up winning the group. They beat the Swiss today to advance to the semifinals. Canada is playing the Czechs right now, so we'll have an update for you guys in a little bit there. Um, just my overall impressions from the US Canada game. Stop playing for the Instagram highlight. Stop playing for you coming off the top of the circle and trying to do this nice little snapshot that's going to pick the goalie's corner. Sometimes just get it to the net, and that's for both teams. And one team figured it out and the other one didn't.
Are you accusing Canada of playing Instagram hockey?
Stop playing for the clip, man.
Are you Steve Valiquette?
I'm not Steve Valiquette, and I thought that was ridiculous, but it's
Kind of sound
something.
like it.
All right, maybe a little bit. I mean, no one's trying Michigan's or anything, and honestly, I don't care if you do, but
No,
stop these loop back plays. Like every now and then, a little cycle play can work in
I'm
this
messing with
tournament.
you. Can I say, okay, I think our listeners can handle a little joke,
Oh
maybe
yeah,
not get panties in a bunch. And this is not meant to get political, but it's the funniest fucking thing I've seen in my life. How, I think it was after the second intermission. Was it 3-1 after two, I think? I can't remember.
in
USA
the
was up.
in the U.S. game,
Yeah,
I
US
think they
Canada.
went into the third up 1-0.
Was it up one? Okay.
Could be
Then maybe
wrong.
halfway through the third or whatever, there's a Canadian, it was on my Twitter feed. There was a Canadian fan who was similar to a Noah hockey stick emoji, like stick figure avatar, just writes stupid shit and it's hilarious. He I don't think it's any secret, but obviously Wayno's been in the political game with Trump and stuff, and people have been like, "Oh, he retweeted Trump's thing of Wayne Gretzky would make a great prime minister." He quote tweeted and said, "At the rate this game is going, I think Canada might actually vote for this." I couldn't
I
stop
mean,
laughing.
I mean, that's really good. And also, I don't disagree with it. I think if you saw Wayne Gretzky's name on a ballot, I mean, shit, I'd vote for the guy.
It's Canada starts losing hockey. No, we need Wayne. We need Wayne in charge now.
Right. We
It's
need to fix what's
too
important.
funny.
Yeah.
Too fucking funny.
The overwhelming backlash out of this New Year's game was Canada is upset with the officiating, with the calls that were going on in this game. And I just
Yeah.
have one thing to
Because of
say about
course.
this. It's well, they just don't know how to lose. That's their problem.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
when it's been called this way all tournament, shut up. When it's been called this way in the game, shut up. And going into this game, TSN said this, whoever is most disciplined will win this hockey game. And when you take twice as many penalties as the United States in the third period and are basically on the penalty kill from 10 minutes to go to 3 minutes to go, you're probably not going to win the game.
Fair
Can I
point.
just say too, and I don't want to ruffle feathers. We've got a lot of, let alone Canadian listeners. We've got a lot of Canadian friends of the program that come on the show. I can't remember the last time that like an NHL team has lost a playoff game or a playoff series or whatever it is, or just lost a big game to a rival and been as big of a fucking baby on Twitter as I've seen from these Canadian fans on Twitter, like in the last couple of days. It's like it's it's embarrassing, dude. Like
They don't know how to handle it.
it's so bad. It's so bad. Like to the point where today even I'm looking at a replay of Leonard getting hit in the face with a hockey puck, and you've got Canadian fans being like, "Dude, he's a baby because he rolls around on the ice all the time." Like just fucking saying the dumbest shit. And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you lost. Suck it up.
Yeah.
You fucking lost.
Tournament's not over, but you lost. Now you got to play the
You
checks.
lost. That's the other thing. It didn't even get eliminated. You lost a game to the like. Grow the fuck up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get
I,
that
I
out.
do love how chippy that game got. Like Yzerman scored, and then I don't know if you guys saw the video of him doing a little drive-by of the Canadian bench and saying like "Attaboy, Cowan,"
Yeah.
because Easton Cowan
Yeah.
was in the
I think
penalty
he said
box.
giddy up, cowboy, giddy up, or something like
Yeah.
that. It
Oh,
was
dude,
good.
that too. Like, did you see the fucking comments on there was a video from like Hockey Canada or something like that or TSN. It was just like an interview with Cowan. And it's literally people from Canada like
Yeah.
commenting, being like, retire from hockey, you fucking
Yeah.
suck, like all this shit. It's like,
He's
dude, you
19.
yeah, it's like you guys are the worst. You are
And
the
did
fucking worst.
did you see his comments about that? Because someone asked him about Yzerman's drive-by. He was like, "Yeah, it was a dumb penalty, and this is why this game is so
Yeah.
intense." Yeah,
No,
I mean,
exactly. Like he knows how to fucking own it.
exactly. The guy's he's a Knights prospect, or he's a Knights player, he's a Leafs prospect, and he's playing for Team Canada. I think he knows how to answer one or two really stupid
Yeah.
questions.
I bet.
They are currently losing to Czechia in the first period,
Oh
3 to
my
1.
God. Here we go,
Awesome.
boys. Here we go.
Awesome. Fuck them.
What's who's the one kid for Czechia that's absolutely nasty? I think he's a Blues prospect. He's like David
Oh yeah.
Dalibor Dvorsky.
that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Is he a Blues guy?
I
that
think
sounds right.
so. Wasn't he on that list you sent us today with all like half of them were blues?
Yep, you
Yeah,
nailed it.
yeah, he's sick. I've watched one Czechia game, but
It's
everyone
like
was saying
his
this is the
fourth
guy.
World Juniors too, right?
Yeah, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
Shout out because the Caps get so many prospects in this tournament. Like, I'm kind of jealous. Shout out to one of the Penguins who has the lone goal for Canada, shorthanded, Tanner Howe, assisted by former Penguin prospect Braden Yeager. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
just had to throw that
let's
out
let's
there.
give Canada some credit here. Tanner Mollendijk on defense, I think, has been one of the most impressive players to watch. I mean, you want to the closest I've seen to Cale Makar on that Canadian team for sure.
Yeah, and the Schaefer injury hurts.
That sucks.
That one sucks. So I don't know. I mean, I've never seen a Canadian team have this much drama. Not even drama, just like hate. Like they just don't like him. And poor
Yeah.
McKenna, this 16-year-old kid, he can probably can't even drive yet. And he's like, yeah, like our country. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, our country's doubting us. Like it's time for us to step up.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, he's getting 16 minutes of ice time, and he's probably the best player. So I don't know.
exactly. And I mean, they were all over the coach after the first game because apparently he didn't get enough ice time in the fans'
Yeah.
opinion. It just snowballs from there. But
Anyways, it's been a great World Junior so far.
it
Stay
has
tuned. I believe the championship game
the
is
fifth.
the 5th. So
Sunday, I think.
Yes.
remember that, especially if the US is in it.
Look out for Sweden, guys. They're
Yeah,
just
they're
they're
good
out
too.
for blood after last year, and they are so freaking good.
I think Czechia could win it too, to be honest.
I
They
agree.
look good. All right, we're gonna move on to the gambling portion of the episode. I'll fly through this. I know this one's running long, and then we'll get you all out of here. But before we do, you know the drill. The gambling portion is brought to you by Prop Tracker, your one-stop shop for all outlier bets, shots, rebounds, receptions. Wild card weekend is coming up shortly. You definitely want to download it for that. What are you pointing at?
Ovi goal.
Oh, Nice. There you go. What was that? Plus 140 maybe, something like that.
Something like that. Thank you, prop tracker.
Yeah, if you download Prop Tracker, you can keep track of all the player props. So go do that using our link in our social media bios. All right, real quick. I know this is usually Nick's segment, but I'll fly through it. Teams who are hot, Vegas, they're number one in the league, which is crazy to say. They've won six in a row. Winnipeg, four in a row. Colorado, and also four in a row, might be getting their captain back, Gabe Landeskog. That would be huge. Duran back from injury too. Fully loaded Colorado team could be very dangerous. Move on to the cold teams. San Jose. Celebrini's the only reason to watch this team at the moment. They've lost 7 games in a row. The Rangers have lost 4 in a row and are currently last in the Metro Division. And it's 2025. Pretty funny. And then Vancouver, we talked about the drama earlier. Only 3 wins in their last 10 games. So tough sledding there. If you follow our boy Prop Tracker, or not, you probably follow him too. Puck picks. Love these line mate parlays that he's doing. I'm becoming a fan of these. So I took one of them tonight. I'll read this one off. But Marner and Tavares both have points in 9 of their last 10. When Matthews is out, Marner's a different beast, and Tavares looks great. So maybe put them on a parlay. I think Michael Bunting has some great value. He's been playing real well lately. 4 goals in his last 5 games, and him to score is like plus 350. I mean, it's fat. So that's a good little dabble there. He's on that first power play unit now. So getting some good looks. Dustin Wolf, the Calgary goalie, he's been unreal on home ice this year. So if Calgary's underdog money at home, I think they just took down Vancouver at home the other night with Wolf between the pipes. It's a great value bet. They're usually good price because Vegas kind of sleeps on them a little bit. And then lastly, shout out Cody Pucks because he bets these guys every night and just feels like he wins every game. And I think he should buy a Kirill Machenko jersey at this point. But the Blue Jackets at home over 6.5 has hit in 15 of 19 games this season. I think they're playing the Red Wings right now.
They're a great over team because
They're
yeah,
the
they
best.
they they get scored on a lot, but a lot of their lineup can really shoot the puck.
They are by far and away the best over team so far this season. I'll read this little tidbit for the listeners. I'll go through the top 5 over teams so far on Prop Tracker. It keeps track of all this for you. Columbus has hit the over 6.5. All these are 6.5, 25 times. The next closest is Pittsburgh at 21. Colorado also has hit it 21 times. And then the Islanders and Philly to round that out. The Islanders are a weird team this year. They let in a lot of goals. They have the worst penalty kill in the league, so that's another thing to keep an eye out on. But that's the gambling segment for today. Get trivia and get you on out of here.
Nice. Yeah, I got the trivia today, boys. Of course, it is going to be World Juniors theme, so buckle up for this one.
Yep.
All right, ready?
Shoot.
Canada's 2005 World Junior team is widely regarded as the best of all time.
Loaded.
9 players on their roster went on to play over 1,000 games in the NHL. I need 5 of them.
I might be able to give you all 9 potentially. I don't know.
Well, if you can do all
Any
9, let's go
five
for
of the 9 is what you're asking for?
any 5 of the 9. But now Harry's making me think we should just do all 9.
No. Wait, I'm not that. Hang on. I take that back. I take that back.
Okay.
So
2005. So read again. They've all, or 9 of them played 1,000 games in the NHL. Is that what you said?
Correct.
Jesus. Okay.
he just won.
1,000 games or more. But yeah.
All right. Let's see how many we can do. Crosby.
Yes.
Bergeron.
I was just gonna say Bergeron.
Correct.
Getzlaff, I think.
Correct.
Perry.
Correct.
Yep. There's 4.
Do goalies count?
Goalies do count.
Was Fleury there?
No, but
was right after him.
somebody was. Maybe not. I
Was
don't
Shea
know.
Weber on that team?
Shea Weber, there's your
There you
5th. All
go.
right, give me the last 4. You guys got this.
Seabrook, I think.
Correct.
Nice, Mac. I'm thinking about that 03,
6.
04 draft.
Oh yeah. Okay, wait. 03, 04. True. Uh,
Who was their goalie? I feel like that's one of them, right, Nick?
No comment.
Dion Phaneuf.
Dion Phaneuf, there's another
Let's
one.
go. Let's
Great
go.
pool. Great
I wouldn't have
pool.
gotten that unless you said the draft thing.
Yeah. It's a double Dion, guys. Come on.
So there's three more.
There's two more now. You guys got seven. You know these players' names, trust me. Harry, you in particular should really know one of their names.
Oh
Penguin
God.
guy.
It was one of the teams he played for.
Another
He will.
Canadian
Okay.
Penguin. Jeff Carter.
Bingo.
Oh,
Let's
that's a great
go.
pool.
Let's go. Okay,
All right, this
we're only
last
missing
one.
one.
So this last one played 1,001 games. I think of him with a very specific central team, but he
Okay.
played on a couple other ones too.
Okay. Did he ever play for the Caps at all?
He did not.
Okay. Hmm.
He played, I'm not going to give you the teams because that'll give it away.
You can think of him with a Central Division team.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's not a goalie. They must have had some random goalies that year or something.
No comment.
Who the hell was the goalie? It has to be.
All right, I'll give you this. If you're thinking goalie, you're getting cold.
It's not a
Oh,
goalie.
okay.
All right.
You said Central team. I was gonna say Mike Richards, but that's not it.
Close. He was on
I
that
think
team.
he
and
was on
played,
that team.
He played like 973 games.
I was
or
kind
something
of
like
thinking that. That's why I said, did he ever play for the Caps?
Hmm.
That era is sort of right though.
Okay.
Yeah. Central Division. Central team.
Yeah, that's kind of
Something in
A
like
good one, like a really good one from the Central in like the mid 2000s or like 2010s.
Hmm. Defenseman?
No,
Forward.
forward.
I'm thinking like Minnesota, Chicago, St. Louis, Dallas, something
We
like
had
that.
one of his teammates on the show a long time ago.
Oh, it's a Blackhawk because it's related to Versteeg, I bet.
Warmer.
Canadian. He said was it Keith? No, it
No,
wasn't Keith. Was Bufflin on that team?
no. And
And he
Buff's
didn't get it done.
American, right?
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
might be. Yeah,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Dumb guess.
This this is going to be a little bit of a pull, but you guys know this name.
Okay.
Is it Dave Boland?
No,
Ooh,
that's a
good
great
guess.
pull. You're moving in the right direction
Oh
there.
God.
Um,
Do you want me to give you the other
Like,
teams?
like
how
me
many,
one
how
other team.
many teams did he play for? Did you say that already?
No, I did not. He played for one, two, three, four, five teams, and one of them moved.
Okay. And he's not still in the NHL, I'm guessing.
His last season in the NHL, okay, six. His last season in the NHL was 21-22.
Okay.
You think of him as a central, like was he drafted by the central team?
He was not drafted by the Central team, but when I think of this guy, this is exactly like I picture him in this jersey with this number with that team.
Okay.
Fuck, man, I'm stumped.
Hold on. I really want to get this.
And he played for the Penguins, you said.
No, that was
1,000
Carter.
Oh, that was
You
Carter.
said 1,001 games.
1,001 games.
Did he ever play in the Metro?
Yes. He was drafted by the Hurricanes and then also played for the Islanders. He also played on a team that may or may not have been in the Metro had they not moved. Depending on
fuck. Winnipeg, and the Islanders. Hold on. Andrew Ladd.
Yep, got it.
Nice.
There you
Okay,
go.
so I see the Versteeg connection with Chicago now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck,
Good
Nice
job,
pullback.
boys.
I always like, I don't know who I think of him. I honestly feel like I think of him with the Islanders or the Jets.
Okay.
I think of him as a Blackhawk or Jet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was drafted by the Hurricanes fourth overall in '04. Won a Stanley Cup with the Hurricanes. Did not know that. Well, played 29
I
games
did
the year
not
they
know
won
that
the
either.
Stanley
That's
Cup, but
crazy.
17 games in the playoffs. That's wild. 3 seasons
That's
there. Went over to
insane.
Chicago in '07. And then after they won the cup in 10, I guess he signed in Atlanta and was there for a year until the Jets took over.
That was a good question. I definitely needed the hints to get. I was not thinking about Andrew Ladd, but
If I asked you guys this question, it would take 10 more hours, and this is already long, so I won't. But the goaltending tandem for that team is
Oh,
crazy.
who was it?
insane.
It no, like bad.
Oh,
That team
like
is like a crazy mix of like guys that played 1,000 games in the NHL and then
Yeah.
guys that played less than like 10.
Their starting goalie was Jeff Glass.
Yeah.
Who the
what?
Jeff Glass, and their backup was Regine Beauchemin. Guys you've never heard, and they
What
like
the
it was the
fuck?
greatest team of all time with no goalie.
That's
Greatest
crazy.
greatest junior team
You
of
know
all
what we should
time.
do? We should get one of those goalies on this podcast and be like,
Would love to.
what the fuck was going on with this team?
Yeah, what was that locker room like?
Yeah. And do
That's a
you
great
still
idea.
communicate with any of these people?
I think people forget too that like Bergeron had like an entire NHL season under his belt and then went to play in that tournament.
Yeah.
Jeff
Wow.
Glass. What a fucking name. Okay. Well, that's a hell of
Wow.
an episode.
That was my
Lot to
goodness.
unpack. A little longer just because there was a lot of news going on and there's a lot going on in general at the moment. But we'll be back next week with a slightly shorter one because we don't have to play catch up as much.
And hey, follow our socials. I will be at Wrigley Field on Saturday, up to no good, freezing my butt off. It's gonna be fun. And if for some reason you're there, come find me. Section 3, left field. Yeah, like left field. What do they call it? Third base line.
There you
you
go.
go.
There it
So if
is.
they've got like souvenir beer
I
sticks
think they
there,
might have the sticks. I'm
would,
pretty
would
sure
it
they
be
do.
Bring it
like would it
back.
be sticks or would it be bats though?
Oh, we
Well,
got to bring it back.
yeah, actually, I think it is a bat, but
Okay.
Bring it back, Mac.
I'll get something. I'll get
Yeah.
something.
That would be incredible.
That or
It'll
just
probably be like
find
$45 at this one.
find like the most nonsensical like merch item and just turn it into a beer funnel somehow.
Okay, that's a good idea.
All right. Appreciate everybody listening. If you guys have no other final notes, we'll wrap up.
Go USA, baby.
Amen. Thanks everybody for listening. Appreciate the love and support as always. Happy New Year. Good to be back. And without further ado,
Class dismissed.